Okay, Hare Krishna. I'll say just quick prayers. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, do you remember where do we have to read from, Mataji?
Mataji, I think did we do the shloka Mataji? Yogdan matam
कर लिया था ये वाला.
तो फिर ये तो नहीं after this incident Vallabha Bhatta invited the Lord to Indies and Lord went to
ये श्लोका भी पढ़ लिया था. सेकंड श्लोका भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु का.
हृदयस्य प्रणया.
चलो यहाँ से पढ़ लेते हैं या फिर
कहाँ से पढ़े माता जी?
यहाँ से प्रोलॉग से. हाँ,
Okay.
So I was listening to one of Amrendra Prabhu's lecture, and he mentioned that there are 5 main topics of Chaitanya Charitamrita. You know, जैसे भगवद गीता के 5 मेन टॉपिक्स होते हैं, भागवतम के 10 मेन टॉपिक्स बोलते हैं, ऐसे चैतन्य चरितामृत के 5 मेन टॉपिक्स हैं. So the first main topic is the teachings to Rup Goswami. So that's what we are reading here. And then second one is teachings to Sanatan Goswami. And then comes the Shikshashtakam prayers, very important. और फिर एक है the pastime of Lord during Rath Yatra, Jagannath Rath Yatra. और फिर the fifth was the Rai Ramanand Samvad, conversation between Ramanand Rai and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, should we read from here?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. In the prologue to the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.1.2, Rup Goswami describes Lord Chaitanya as follows. Hridiyasya preranaya pravrittitoham varaka rupopi tasya hare padkamlam vande Chaitanya devasya. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Dev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he has inspired me with the desire in my heart to write something about devotional service. For this reason, I am writing this book on the science of devotion known as Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So Rup Goswami ne, he's dedicating the book Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the second verse of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Beginning his 10 days of continual instruction to Rupa Goswami, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Rupa, the science of devotional service is just like a great ocean, and so it is not possible to show you its entire length and breadth. But I shall try to explain the nature of that ocean by taking just one drop out of it. In this way, you can taste it and understand what that ocean of devotional service actually is." Actually, ये भी हमने पढ़ लिया था. We read about the 10,000 part of the tip of hair. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that the devotional service is like a vast ocean. So I cannot describe the whole ocean to you. So I'll just tell you, I'll just share a drop with you, and with that one drop, you will get the taste of the whole ocean. Mataji, should we read this para also? We read it last time.
Yes, Mataji, I think we can read it quickly.
Okay.
वैसे मुझे याद आ गया कि हमने we read it.
The Lord then explained that within this Brahmand or universe, there are innumerable living entities who, according to their own fruitive activities, are transmigrating from one species of life to another and from one planet to another. In this way, their engagement in material existence has continued since time immemorial. In actuality, these living entities are atomic parts and parcels of Supreme Spirit. It is said that in the Shvetashvatara Upanishad that the length and breadth of the individual soul is 1/10,000th part of the tip of hair. The atomic magnitude of the living entity is confirmed in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So यहाँ पे तो बस ये बताया गया कि कैसे this innumerable living entities are in this Brahmand because of their fruitive activities, and they just keep going from one species to another. And they are doing this from time immemorial because they forget that they are part and parcel of Krishna. And the size of a spirit soul is 1/10,000th of the tip of a hair. And in the 10th canto, Sanandan Kumara, so this is one of the 4 Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanat, and Sanandan. Those are the 4 Kumaras. This is Sanandan Kumara. While performing a great sacrifice, quotes the following statement by the personified Vedas. O Supreme Truth, if the living entities were not infinitesimal spark of the Supreme Spirit, each minute spark would be all-pervading and could not be controlled by superior power. But if the living entity is accepted as a minute part and parcel of Supreme Lord, one can automatically understand how he is controlled by the Supreme Power. So this is a very complicated statement. Sanandan Kumar is making this in the 10th canto, that the way to understand how the spirit soul is just this minute spark is the way to understand that is by thinking that if this minute spark was not part of a big Supreme Spirit, then it would also be all pervasive and would not be under anybody's control. But the fact that it is under some control and not all pervasive, it is limited, means that it is just a minute part and parcel of a very big whole. The latter is his actual constitutional position, and if he remains in this position, he can attain full freedom. If one mistakenly considers his constitutional position equal to that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he becomes contaminated by the doctrine of non-duality, and his efforts in transcendental life are rendered ineffective. So here he's saying that, Sanandan Kumar is saying that the constitutional position of a spirit soul is that he is controlled by supreme power. And then knowing this, he can attain full freedom. But if he thinks he's equal to Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he's contaminated by non-duality. कि हम सब एक हैं, जो impersonalism वाला होता है कि हम भगवान बन सकते हैं, that concept comes in then. So then his efforts will be ineffective. ये भी हो गया था माता जी.
नेक्स्ट वाला स्थावरा और जंगमा वाला भी हो गया था माता जी.
और ये भी हमने कर लिया था कि ज्ञानी कौन होते हैं, कर्मीज और मुक्ताज कौन होते हैं.
इससे नेक्स्ट वाला माता जी,
हाँ ये
आर्यंस, हाँ जी हाँ ये भी पढ़ा था. Unrighteous, those who are jnanis, empirical or theoretically mukta, but the actual mukta understand the yes माता जी. यहाँ से ये तो पढ़ लिया था माता जी. ये कृष्णा भक्ता और कृष्णा कॉन्शियस पर्सन that engage with the faith and devotion in the service. Krishna Bhakta is free from all those and knowing the classified among the related. So यहाँ से right, yes, ये भी पढ़ लिया था माता जी शायद नेक्स्ट वाला. मुक्ता नाम अपि सिद्धा नाम नारायण परान सुलभ. yes माता जी ये भी पढ़ लिया था. Liberated, one person who have achieved the sustained mystic yoga. It's rare to find the devotee. माता जी यहाँ से पढ़ेंगे शायद. Lord Chaitanya next explained that the 1,000 millions of living entity wandering in the material world.
Yes, you're right. Yes.
यहाँ से पढ़ना.
We'll have to figure out a better way to mark.
Yes माता जी next time. मैं पढ़ूँ माता जी यहाँ से.
पढ़ो. Yes.
Lord Chaitanya next explained that of the many thousands and millions of living entities wandering in the material world, one who by the grace of Lord Krishna and the spiritual master gets the seed of devotional service is very rare and fortunate. A pious or religious man is generally inclined to worship deities in various temples. But if by chance, even without his knowledge, he offers his obeisances and worshipful respects to the Lord Vishnu and receives the favor of a Vaishnava, a devotee of the Lord, at that time he acquires the asset necessary to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Shuddha Bhakt Charan Renu, right, Mataji? This is
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. This is plainly understood from the history of the great sage Narada, which is related in Srimad Bhagavatam. By serving Vaishnavas in his previous life, Narada was favored by those devotees of the Lord and became the great sage Narad Muni. So this is the story of Narad Muni, Mataji. We read in chapter 6 in first canto about how it happened, and he was, during childhood he was not naughty, and then he got the association on those 4th month of Kartik. Then he served them, and after that, because during those 4 months he ate the remnants, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
And this first line is that shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Brahman Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Bija.
Bhakti Lata Bija.
Many thousands of living entities are wandering, but only a rare person will get the seed of devotional service by the grace of Krishna and Master. So this is very important. We think how we got bhakti, right? So some people think, oh, I must have finished all my karmas, that now I've come to the stage of a karma, that I have earned this devotional service. But actually getting the Harinam, getting the association of devotees is so rare. It has nothing to do with the karmas at all. It can be by the grace of Krishna or by serving. So somewhere, sometime, maybe we have served, a pure devotee by mistake, or some kind of sukriti somebody has earned, because of which they got this seed of devotional service. So it's no credit to us. It's just the grace, just causeless mercy, anukampa of Krishna or some pure devotees that you get the bhakti.
It reminds me that I want to share something. I mean, जब मेरी शादी हुई उसके बाद हम लोग ना after 6 months हम लोग बैंगलोर शिफ्ट हो गए थे. तो वहां जाने के बाद आई वाज नॉट वर्किंग. तो जैसे मेरे हस्बैंड सुबह ऑफिस चले जाते थे, तो वी वर लिविंग इन द अपार्टमेंट्स, और उनका ना एक मंदिर था, अपार्टमेंट वालों को एक छोटा सा टेम्पल था. वहां पे एक साउथ इंडियन बुजुर्ग से बाबा जी आते थे, वो वहीं पे रहते थे, पूजा करते थे सब. तो मुझे पता नहीं, एक बार ऐसे हुआ, मैं फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम, मैं जब मेरे हस्बैंड चले जाते थे ना, मैं रोज सुबह जाके और पूरा मंदिर, क्योंकि वो बुजुर्ग थे, उनसे नहीं, 2 बार मैंने देखा कि वो इतने बुजुर्ग हैं, उनसे नहीं हो पाता, बहुत ही से झुक के करते थे. तो वो सोसाइटी के गेट पे टेम्पल होता था. तो मैंने काफी टाइम तक, जब तक हम लोग वहां से आए नहीं, इनफैक्ट आई वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग कुछ मंथ के बाद, तो मैं जाके ना वो टेम्पल धोना, तुलसी पूजा, आगे झाड़ू, पूरा ऐसे करके ना, मुझे याद है कि वो मुझे बोलते थे, अच्छा तुम कल फिर पक्का आना, हाँ, भूलना मत, आ जाना फिर. हाँ, उनको लगा कि मैं ना डेली आती रहूंगी. बहुत टाइम तक जाती रही. हालांकि मैं बिल्कुल भी ऐसे वो नहीं, डिवोटी टाइप कुछ नहीं था मेरा, बट मुझे उनको देख के बड़ी दया आती थी. मुझे लगता था कि ये कैसे करते होंगे, 2 घंटे दूर से बस में चल के आते हैं, कितने थक जाते हो. सो वो दैट वाज द टाइम जब वहां पे कृष्णा जी की भी मूर्ति थी, और वो बहुत डेली ना मेरे से माला बनवा के फ्लावर्स चढ़वाते थे और धुलवाते थे, पूरा उनको स्नान करवाते थे. आई डिड इट फॉर वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम. फिर जब आई वाज प्रेग्नेंट, तो फिर मैंने फिर जाना छोड़ा थोड़े टाइम बाद.
That's how you
राइट. मुझे लगता है माता जी शायद मेरी थोड़ी बहुत उन्हीं की ब्लेसिंग्स होंगी जहां से मेरा शुरू हुआ, बट आई वाज नॉट. So yes,
this is what you remember in this life, and then
yes, mother,
बाकी लोगों का कोई previous life का भी कुछ
कोई ना कोई एक्सपीरियंस रहता होगा.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, Mataji. Very nice. आप
I should share. मुझे जब भी लगता है वहीं से शायद कुछ शुरू हुआ या उनकी ब्लेसिंग्स होंगी, क्योंकि वो पूरी टाइम वो उसी मंदिर के ही पंडित थे शायद. So I'll read from here, Mataji. Vaishnavas are generally very compassionate towards the conditioned souls. Without even being invited, a devotee will go from door to door to enlighten people, to bring them out of the darkness of nescience by imparting knowledge of the living entity's constitutional position as a servant of Lord Krishna. Such devotees are empowered by Lord Krishna to distribute devotional consciousness or Krishna consciousness to the people in general. They are known as authorized spiritual masters, and it is by the mercy of such a spiritual master that the conditioned soul gets the seed of devotional service. The causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is first appreciated when one comes in touch with the bona fide spiritual master, who can enlighten the conditioned soul and bring him to the highest position of devotional life. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said that by the mercy of the spiritual master, one can achieve the causeless mercy of the Lord, and by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can attain the mercy of the bona fide spiritual master. So it's वैसा वर्षा, ऐसे कर भगवान को करोगे तो गुरु मिलेगा, गुरु को करेगा तो भगवान मिलेगा. राइट माता जी?
यस माता जी. पहले तो आप जस्ट ऐसे ही करना शुरू करते हो, राइट? तो फिर आपको जस्ट बाय कॉजलेस मर्सी आपको गुरु, भगवान की मर्सी से आपको गुरु मिलेंगे, फिर गुरु की मर्सी से आपको भगवान मिलेंगे,
भगवान मिल जाएंगे. राइट माता जी. So shall I continue, Mataji? Next one wala bhi?
Sure.
Okay. Thus, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna, one receives the seed of devotional service. Then one has to sow that seed in the fields of his heart, just as a gardener sows the seed of a valuable tree. After sowing the seed, one has to water it by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Supreme Lord, and by taking part in discussion about the science of devotional service in a society of pure devotees. When the plant of devotional service sprouts up from the seed of devotion, it begins to grow freely. When it is fully grown, it surpasses the length and breadth of this universe and enters the transcendental, how beautifully explained, enters atmosphere of the spiritual world, where everything is bathed in the effulgence of the Brahma Jyoti. The plant penetrates even the Brahma Jyoti and gradually enters the plant known as Goloka Vrindavan. There, the plant takes shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. This is the ultimate goal of devotional service. After attaining this position, the plant produces the fruit of love of Godhead. To taste this fruit, however, it is necessary for the devotee of transcendental gardener to water the plant daily by chanting and hearing. Unless one waters the plant by chanting and hearing, there is every chance that it will dry. Very well. Wow. Beautifully. I really have to make notes specifically for this. This is beautiful.
कितना अच्छे से डिस्क्राइब किया.
बहुत ही अच्छे से माता जी, बहुत ही अच्छे.
अब सीड को वाटरिंग करनी है उसकी, है ना, बीड्स नहीं आने देनी, अच्छे से वो ग्रो होगा. पहले वो ब्रह्म ज्योति की फलजेंस में पहुंचेगा और फिर वो फाइनली गोलोक वृंदावन.
बड़ा अच्छा लिखा ना. एंड देन इट विल स्टार्ट ग्रोइंग फ्रीली, राइट? इट विल जस्ट ग्रो. And then they reminds that never stop chanting, because just like watering, so if you stop chanting, so it will dry again. Very good. Very nice. I'll read one more, Mataji.
Yes.
Lord Chaitanya pointed out to Rupa Goswami that there was another danger to be encountered while watering the root of the devotional plant. After a plant has grown somewhat, an animal may come and either eat it or destroy it. When the green leaves of a plant are eaten by some animal, the plant generally dies. Thus, one has to take precautions so that the plant of devotional service is not disturbed by animals. which represent offenses. The most dangerous animal is mad elephant. For if a mad elephant enters a garden, it causes tremendous damage to plants and trees. An offense to a pure devotee of the Lord is called Vaishnava Aparad, the mad elephant offense. In the discharge of devotional service, an offense to the feet of a pure devotee creates havoc and stop one's advancement. Thus, one has to defend the plant of bhakti by fencing it off properly and taking care not to offend pure devotees. Then the plant of devotional service will be properly protected. Haribol. Very nice. So yes, mad elephant.
So basically they're saying
Offense.
to guard against the offenses.
Yes. And Mataji, only these offenses, like any offense for the pure devotee is considered as offense. But I think other offenses also, if you are engaged in some activities which actually affect your bhakti or, in a negative way, that is also an offense, right, Mataji? But this is the biggest one, right? To offend any pure devotee, right, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. So remember when we read those 10 offenses to the holy name, one of the offenses to maintain material attachments despite so many instructions. But it is not a Vaishnava Aparad. Vaishnava Aparads are the worst kind. But I think they're talking about it in the next coming 2 paras.
Right.
Okay. So Raksha Mataji is not available to read, right?
Yes, Mataji. Aap would read now.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
An offense to pure devotee is one of the 10 offenses against the holy name. The first offense is to blaspheme the great devotee who has tried to spread the glories of the holy name all over the world. The greatest offender at the feet of the holy name is the rascal who is envious to such devotees. The holy name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna, and Lord Krishna cannot tolerate offenses against a pure devotee who, following the order of his spiritual master, is spreading the holy name all over the world. The second offense is to deny that Lord Vishnu is the absolute truth. Since there is no difference between the Lord and his name, qualities, form, and pastimes or activities, one who sees a difference is considered an offender. The Lord being supreme, no one is equal to or greater than him. Consequently, one who thinks that the name of some demigod is equal to the Lord's name is an offender. The Supreme Lord and the demigods should never be considered on the same level. So I think we are talking about here the offenses to the holy name that we read in the morning. Should I continue with the next paragraph, Mataji?
Sure, yes, Mataji.
The third offense is to consider the bona fide spiritual master to be a common man. The fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature, the Vedas, and such corollaries as Puranas. The fifth offense is to consider the glories of the holy name to be an exaggeration. The sixth offense is to imagine a perverted meaning of the holy name. The seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. It is understood that by chanting the holy name, one is freed from the sinful reactions. But this does not mean that one should perversely act sinfully on the strength of chanting. That is the greatest offense. The eighth offense is to equate chanting the holy name with the religious rituals, austerities, renunciation, or sacrificial performances. Chanting the holy name is as good as associating with Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas these pious activities are only means of approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they can also be performed for some material reason. It is an offense to equate them with chanting the holy name. The ninth offense is to preach the glories of the holy name of God to a faithless person. The 10th and the last offense is to maintain the material attachments, even after hearing and chanting the holy name of God. The idea is that chanting the holy name without offense, one is elevated to the liberated platform, where one is freed from all material attachments. Thus, if one chants the holy names and still has material attachments, he is committing an offense. Very bold. So, Mataji, we are, like, I'll talk about myself. I'm committing offense on daily basis.
Mataji, same here.
Same here, Mataji. Every moment, daily basis. मुझे तो लगता है मिनट मेरे तो हर सेकंड पे.
It's the last line is so strong.
Yeah.
It's, thus, if one chants the holy name and still has material attachments, he's committing an offense.
But Mataji, if you remember, like we've talked about this with Atul Prabhu also, we are, trying to, we are like a struggling devotee. So we are trying to fight with Maya right now. So as long as, you are struggling to advance towards Krishna, that those efforts, those intentions are more important than, your material attachments, because Krishna sees the efforts and the intention. So we are not, we cannot give up all material attachments at once. So we are slowly cleansing ourselves. जैसे कि पहले हम, like मैं तो नहीं रखती थी एकादशी, now थोड़ा बहुत अब एकादशी रख रहे हैं, थोड़ी चीजें कम कर दी हैं, बंद कर दी हैं, like so many things we are trying to improve in our life. So Krishna sees those efforts. So that's why don't pay too much attention to offenses. I think the main thing is to not commit Vaishnava Prad. Baki, same thing with like being inattentive while chanting is also this 10th offense, to maintain material attachments, to be inattentive while chanting. All these things come together. So we are not always attentive, right? We do.
No.
That is also Nama Prad if you're not. But it is better to do that than to not chant at all.
Yeah.
So it is better to struggle in this path than to completely give up and think, oh, I'm committing offenses, so I will somehow get bad reaction for that. But it's actually okay to struggle with chanting than to not chant, or to struggle to detach from material attachments than to completely give in to sense gratification.
Yes. In one of Amrendra Prabhu's lecture, I had heard, I think most of the devotees generally say this very always, that we should follow more, we should pay attention more to the do's and do not pay too much attention to the don'ts. When you keep doing your do's properly, the don'ts will follow. So that is also quite encouraging. And I mean, Amrendra Prabhu's one lecture about the powers of the holy name, I don't know if this was the exact topic, but this is what it meant, also said, obviously there are two kinds of chanting: those amazing devotees who completely pay attention and chant, that is to a next level. But devotees like me who are thinking about the grocery list and all those things and then keep chanting, Prabhu was telling that the name, the word, because Krishna is indifferent to his name, that still is beneficial even when you're chanting. Radhanath Maharaj says many times that you should not just do your tongue exercise, but you should hear what you're chanting. But even if you are doing tongue exercise and not able to concentrate, still the name, holy name, does not go to any waste. It will definitely give you some benefit. So the powers are awesome.
Yeah. So that's why actually Prabhupada doesn't talk about offenses very much. Very few places Prabhupada has talked about offenses. Just like you said, he paid more attention to the do's than to the don'ts. So out of these, the main thing is Vaishnava Prad, to blaspheme the pure devotees or devotees of Lord. That is one of the, I think, main big ones that we have to avoid. But yeah, you're right, Mataji. The auspicious things are always auspicious, even if they're done in an inauspicious way, they always have good effect.
Once there was an interview where like the interviewer was mostly attacking only Prabhupada's idea of Krishna consciousness. And then he asked that there are so many of your devotees who have fallen down. What do you say about them? Is this how you teach Krishna consciousness? And Prabhupada said, we are having a war against Maya. And when there are two sides in a war, casualties are obvious to happen on both the sides. So Maya will also have casualties and we will also have casualties.
Right. Right. Yes.
आज मॉर्निंग में ना प्रभु अतुल प्रभु ने ना एक वो माइंड के ऊपर 6 चैप्टर के ऊपर माइंड के ऊपर ना एक मोगलीला प्रभु का ना एक लेक्चर शेयर किया था। उसमें प्रभु जी यही बता रहे थे कि कैसे आपको कैसे चीजों से जीतना है, अपने माइंड को कैसे कंट्रोल करना। तो उसमें प्रभु जी एक बात बड़ी अच्छी बता रहे थे कि आपको ऐसा नहीं करना है कि कृष्णा मुझे बचा लो, पर मुझे मजा भी करना है, मुझे बचा लो बट मैं एंजॉय भी करना चाहता हूँ। कि आपको कोशिश करनी है कि आप दोनों तरफ नहीं रह सकते। बट मैं ऑनेस्टली बताऊं माता जी, मेरे साथ हो जाता है ऐसा। जैसे मतलब चैंटिंग भी करते हैं, लेकिन अगर कभी कुछ ओल्ड फ्रेंड से मिलते हैं या बात करते हैं तो उनके साथ भी टाइम अच्छा ही लगता है। तो कई बार मुझे लगता है कि मैं ये सही कर रही हूँ, ये वेस्ट है, ये ऑफेंस है। बट जब उनसे मिलते हैं तो लगता है ठीक है, वो नहीं कृष्णा कॉन्शियस को मानते, लेकिन वो अगेंस्ट भी तो नहीं है। तो अगर कोई चिट चैट कर रहे हैं, हंसी मजाक कर रहे हैं, तो कोई बात नहीं, लेट्स बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट। तो ये कोई ऑफेंस तो नहीं है माता जी?
नहीं माता जी, नॉट एट ऑल। मतलब कि it is important to be connected to people and they will maybe get some influence from you.
Maybe sometime, right? Like मतलब सपोर्टिंग। बट कई बार ऐसा होता है ना कि इतनी पुरानी आते हैं हंसी मजाक की बातें करने की फ्रेंड्स के साथ, कि कभी कोई आ जाते हैं कभी घर पे, तो अच्छा भी लगता है कि चलो गुड, दे आर हियर, वी आर टॉकिंग टू देम। तो यस, अगर इफ इट इज ऑफेंस तो आई एम स्टिल डूइंग दिस ऑफेंस।
This is not offense at all. Mother, you are a grahastha, so you have your social connections. And if you have connections, actually, you are in a better position to be able to convey the message and preach. Eventually people will see how you preach, how you're. It doesn't, a devotee doesn't mean that you become very sorrow-faced and morose and you don't laugh or talk or anything. But eventually they'll see that you talk more about Krishna and your lifestyle has changed and the bad things have gone away and the good things are getting more prominent. So they may even get influenced by you. But if you break off with them, have no connection, then you're in no position to inspire them ever.
शायद फिर वो एक उनका माइंडसेट भी हो जाता है कि देखो भक्ति में आके ये हो जाता है। सो पीपल मोर गेट स्कैर्ड कि इफ यू डू दिस देन दिस विल हैपन, सो डोंट डू दिस, राइट माता जी? समटाइम इट हैपेंस। बट थैंक यू माता जी, क्योंकि मेरे एक्चुअली मेरे दिमाग में चल रहा था, बट गुड, आई गॉट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू आस्क कृष्णा। ओके, सो विल कंटिन्यू। माता जी,
want to read more?
Mataji, you can read if you don't mind.
Okay, yes, I can read this. So basically now we're talking about, so we have this seed of devotional service that Prabhupada said, if you, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching to Rup Goswami, that if you water and by chanting and associating, then it will grow. And then there can be some problems like offenses that can stunt its growth. There are still other factors which can disturb the plant of devotional service. As this plant grows, the weeds of material desires may also grow. When a person advances in devotional service, it is natural that many persons will come to him requesting to become disciples and will offer him some material gains. If one is attracted by a large number of disciples offering material conveniences and forgets his duty as a bona fide spiritual master, the growth of the plant will be impeded. Simply by taking advantage of material conveniences, one may become addicted to enjoying material comforts. So this is a very interesting point Prabhupada is mentioning here, that what else can disturb the plant of devotional service. So the plant is growing. Now you reach the position where that person has some disciples or followers, right? They're learning from him. And then those followers, those students may offer him material gains, material conveniences. And it's possible that that master may get distracted by those material conveniences or comforts, or some people like in lectures we hear they get distracted by not ISKCON, but outside we see some gurus that get influenced by the fame and followers and forget the original goal of self-realization or to advance the path of spirituality, and they just start getting more engaged in kuch, start selling some products, or basically material comfort they start enjoying. जैसे कि Prabhupada was, that was his quality. He was never distracted by these things. Like he was in America, people were bringing limousine to pick him up at the airport, and he had so many followers. But he was firm on his path of Krishna consciousness. He was always preaching Krishna consciousness. That was his only goal. He was always writing books, and he never got, he was on a completely transcendental plane. So he could never get distracted by these kind of things. Other impediments are to desire liberation or material name and fame by discharging devotional service, or to neglect the prohibitions. These prohibitions are mentioned in the authorized scriptures. One should not indulge in illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, or eating meat. Indeed, one should not eat anything other than Krishna prasadam, food offered to Krishna. These are the restrictions for one who is attempting to advance a devotional service. If one does not follow these principles strictly, there will be a severe disturbance in the discharge of devotional service. So now Prabhupada is describing what other impediments can happen. So one was offenses, other was to get distracted by the material conveniences. Another one is to desire liberation. Like people get focused so much on mukti that they forget about bhakti. So they may be more attracted towards the yogic processes and all that. Or name and fame, कि सब लोग देखेंगे हमें कि हम देखो कितने बड़े devotee बन गए हैं और उससे कुछ fame मिलेगी. So name and fame. Or to neglect the prohibitions, meaning not following the regulative principles properly. So those things can also cause disturbance in devotional service. I remember once Atul Prabhu discussed, and I had never thought of this point before, that even when people take the path of Krishna consciousness, they become devotees. Sometimes we see that they get distracted by a particular interest they have. Let's say music is their interest. They get so immersed in making music or learning or teaching that they forget that the original goal of that, why they started doing that, was to please Krishna. Now they're just teaching this for money, or just so immersed in that part that they forgot other things. So many other aspects of Krishna consciousness also that people can get distracted by and just completely get focused on that and actually start doing those things for their own sense gratification than to please Krishna. So you have to be careful that we can get trapped in so many other ways also. Okay, I'll read one or two more. If one is not particularly careful, by watering the plant of devotional service, one will instead nourish the weeds described above, which will then grow very luxuriantly and hamper one's progress. The idea is that when one waters a garden, not only does the desired plant grow rapidly, but the unwanted plants grow also. If the gardener does not see these weeds and cut them down, they will overcome and choke the plant of devotion. It is thus the duty of the neophyte devotee to cut down all the weeds that may grow by watering process of devotional service. So अभी यहाँ तक ये बताया कि weeds भी grow करती हैं plant के साथ, तो weeds को निकालना है, उनको water नहीं देना, otherwise they will also start growing. So we have to cut them down, otherwise they'll also grow. If one is careful to guard against the growth of these weeds, the plant of devotion will grow luxuriantly and reach the ultimate goal, Golok Vrindavan. When the living entity engaged in devotional service relishes the fruit of love of Godhead, he forgets all religious rituals aimed at improving his economic condition. He no longer desires to satisfy his senses. And he no longer desires to become one with the Supreme Lord by merging into his effulgence. So here Prabhupada is describing various traps of Maya that can happen. One of the traps one can get in is ki religious rituals karna for, improvement of one's living condition. Another is sense gratification. And then third is to become one with the Supreme, or Brahm Jyoti mein merge hona, like impersonalist. These are all the traps of Maya that can distract one from achieving love of Godhead. The only goal is to realize the love of Godhead. There are many practices leading to spiritual knowledge and transcendental bliss, including the ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas, the execution of austerities and pious duties, and the practice of mystic yoga. These all reward different results to their performers. But all these rewards appear to glitter only as long as one is not elevated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Love of God is dormant in everyone, and it can be awakened from its dormant position by the execution of pure devotional service, just as a person bitten by a serpent and fallen unconscious can be revived by smelling ammonia. Okay, so in this para, Prabhupada is saying कि ये जितनी दूसरी चीजें होती है ना, उनसे भी थोड़ा बहुत नॉलेज और ब्लिस मिल सकता है, उनसे भी स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज और ब्लिस मिल सकती है, जैसे कि ऑस्टेरिटीज करने से, पायस ड्यूटीज करने से, रिचुअलिस्टिक सैक्रिफाइसेस या मिस्टिक योगा से. तो ये बेसिकली हो गई सारी चीजें, कर्मकांड, तप, चैरिटी या दान एंड सिद्धीज वगैरह. तो ऐसा एक श्लोका भी आता है भगवद गीता में 8th चैप्टर में कि जो भी फल मिलते हैं नॉलेज एक्वायर करने से या तपस्या करने से या दान देने से या ज्ञान से, ये सब चीजें, ये कर्मकांड से, ये सब फलों से ज्यादा मिलता है भक्ति में. और जो डिवोटी होता है उसको सुप्रीम पोजीशन मिलती है, विच इज द लव ऑफ गॉडहेड. इन सब चीजों से वो नहीं मिल सकता. सो इन सब से ये लिखा है कि डिफरेंट रिजल्ट्स मिलते हैं. दीज ऑल रिवॉर्ड डिफरेंट रिजल्ट्स टू देयर परफॉर्मर्स.
जैसे वो भगवत गीता में प्रभु जी ने मॉर्निंग में बताया था ना, भोगानंद, ब्रह्मानंद और परमानंद.
यस 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 माता जी. तो भोगानंद का तो यहाँ पे नहीं लिखा. भोगानंद तो हो गया जो सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन है ना. ओह, ब्रह्मानंद हो गया जो ऐसे ब्रह्मन में मर्ज करने से या इन बाकी सब चीजों से मिलेगा थोड़ा बहुत आनंद. और परमानंद मिलेगा, है ना, लाइक एन ओशन, infinite, so that result will be the transcendental loving service of the Lord. वो by pure devotional service ही मिल सकता है. Okay. Mataji, do you want to read?
Let me know, Mataji, when to stop. Okay.
I think 10 ये खत्म हो जाएगा क्या?
बहुत लंबा है चैप्टर माताजी अभी.
अच्छा,
तो मैं 2 पढ़ देती हूँ, है ना.
पता नहीं कहाँ.
हाँ, अभी तो नीचे काफी, मैंने थोड़ा स्क्रॉल करके देखा था, अभी काफी है. करूँ मैं माताजी?
Yes, Mataji.
After speaking in this way about pure devotional service, Lord Chaitanya began to describe that service and its symptoms to Rupa Goswami. He explained that in pure devotional service, there can be no desire other than the desire to advance in Krishna consciousness. In Krishna consciousness, there is no scope for worshipping any demigod or even any other form of Krishna, nor is there room for indulgence in speculative empiric philosophy or fruitive activities. Mataji, any other form of Krishna मतलब?
माताजी मुझे ठीक से नहीं पता, लेकिन आई एम थिंकिंग जैसे कि ये सत्यनारायण इस तरह से शायद.
हाँ, अच्छा. हाँ, यहाँ पे क्योंकि अगर फॉर्म्स की बात करें तो कुछ लोग तो नरसिम्हा देव को भी पूछते हैं कुछ.
हाँ, नरसिंह देव को तो पूछते हैं, बट कई लोगों की एफिनिटी होती है, जैसे कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में भी कुछ लोगों को लॉर्ड राम के लिए, कुछ लोगों को देव के लिए, बट आई डोंट नो इफ इट्स रेफरिंग टू दैट और लाइक नारायण एंड सत्यनारायण, इस तरह से और जो different expansions होती हैं उनको कह रहे हैं. I'm not sure.
Okay. Nor is there any room. ये तो मैंने पढ़ लिया. One should be free from all these contaminations. A devotee should accept only those things that are favorable for keeping his body and soul together, and should reject those things that increase the demands of the body. Only the bare necessities for bodily maintenance should be accepted. By making one's bodily necessities secondary, one can primarily devote his time to the cultivation of Krishna consciousness through the chanting of the holy name of the God. Pure devotional service means engaging all one's senses in the service of the Lord. At the present moment, our senses are all designated because the body is designated. So we think that our body belongs to a particular society or a particular country or a particular family. In this way, the body is bound by Navika. In this way, the body is bound by so many designations. Similarly, the senses belong to body. And when the body is subject to God, she's and when the body is subject to such designation, the senses are also. Thus, one engages the senses on behalf of family, society, nation, and so on. When the senses are so engaged, one cannot cultivate Krishna consciousness. These senses must be purified. So, and the senses must be purified, and this is possible when one purely understands that he belongs to Krishna and that his life belongs to Krishna. In other words, that his identity is to be an eternal servant of Krishna. In this way, one can engage his senses in the service of the Lord, and such engagement is called pure devotional service. Hare Krishna. So here, I don't know, आप present थे भगवद गीता वाली उस chapter reading में, when there was one, I think 6.4 or 4 or 3, Prabhuji was telling that there are people, those who do it for, or maybe in Bhagavatam, extended personal satisfaction, something, right, Mataji?
Yes, ma'am.
That I am from this group, I should do this. Then they think कि हम अच्छा देश का करते हैं, समाज का, इसे वाला, right?
Yes, कि various isms आ जाते हैं.
ism वो अपना निर्भय प्रभु ने explain किया था, वो भागवतम में था, right?
हाँ.
Isms आ जाते हैं, right? I'll read the next one, Mataji. A pure devotee accepts the transcendental loving service of the Lord, but rejects all kind of liberation for his personal sense gratification. This is stated by Lord Kapila in Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.11 to 14. In his explanation of the nature of a pure devotional service, his explanation of the nature of pure devotional service. As soon as a pure devotee hears the glories of transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated in everyone's heart, his mind at once flows towards the Lord, just as the waters of the Ganges flow down towards the sea. Such spontaneous attraction of the devotee's mind to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead signifies pure devotional service. Okay, Mataji. So this is the symptom to know a pure devotee, that as soon as they hear about Lord, I mean, they are in ecstasy, or they just wants to be with Lord or become the servant of the Lord. Like the water of Ganges flows down to the sea without any direction. I mean, without any, what do we say? जैसे कि उनको कोई डायरेक्शन नहीं बताता है that you have to go this way or that way. They just make their own way and then try to reach the sea, however it's possible. So it's with the Lord's devotee, pure devotee as well, that they want to become the servant of the Lord, and whatever they have to do for that, they are ready to do. It's very spontaneous with them. They have no other calculations. Like we see with Prabhupada, that because he had to serve Krishna, he came to this country alone, and then, without thinking that what will happen in that old age, he would, what if he needs somebody to help him? And with such a small amount of money, he came and then he managed. So he was making his way, and Krishna was tested him also. Krishna tested him. Krishna then helped him also. So that's how a pure devotee is. Haribol. Please add, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, so that is a symptom of a pure devotee, that he's unaffected by material obstacles and just wants to hear the name, form, glories, pastimes of Krishna. It's attractive to them. So should we stop for today?
Mataji.
Yes?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. How can we remember where? I already lost it.
Mataji, I marked it in the book that I have. It's page 37. I marked it.
All right.
Page 37. Okay, Mataji.